quacker?
Good job. Do you want to stay with Daddy? Here, why don't you stay with Daddy and Uncle Joey? I'll be right back, okay?
I don't want it.
Okay.
in the country. So there are quite a few cargo ships. It takes them just about 24 hours to completely unload one single ship. And each one of those cranes lifts up 88,000 pounds. Now if you look across the bay, you can see Seattle Sounders, which is a professional soccer team. And it is actually one of my favorite sites on the tour. I do wish that every building in Seattle was as clearly labeled as Crestfield here.
And heading right for that mechanical duck. Oh, and it's caught by the driver of the duck. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, please, we need some. That's okay. That's why I got on and asked all you guys from Ohio, because the first 3 tours work. Convention Center, which is right across the street. By the Lake Washington ship canal, built by the Army Corps of Engineers between 1912 and 1915. Now again, you can still just barely see the picture where there's the left side. And you can see on the right, the Cascade Range up to the east. I am staring straight ahead to make sure we stand on the The water's a little chilly today. Sure you want to go in? Alright.
Hi. Is this fun? by living in a floating home, and you see a lot of floating homes over on that shore over there. Now we'll get them on our way back in, and I'll tell you a little more about the history then. But the main difference between a floating home and a houseboat is that the floating homes don't move. Like normal houses, they're actually hooked up to the utilities, like the power lines and the sewer lines, and so they do stay in one spot. They don't move around. Seattle actually purchased that land in 1960. Technological freedom.
port. Now what you'll be looking for is a sailboat with big blue flags on it. Right beneath it will be a tan floating home with dark green trim right on the end. And that's the one. Now most of you guys won't be able to see it for another few seconds, but I do like to start talking about it a little early. Since we are going so fast, I think we've enough of a heads up to miss it all together. So it's going to be off to your right. And you can see there's a tan floating home with the dark green trim brown roof. Right there on the end, right in front of the pink house. That is where Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan live today. Now please. There you have it. Now, funny thing about the well, the 70s dance party continued just a minute, but I do want to point out that the Fremont Bridge we just went over, it's actually a drawbridge, so the large boat needs to go